to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company Window Works from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. It is What Would Lou Do Day. Yep, these are the days that I answer your question on air. If you'd like to send a question for me to answer on air, go to LuAnnNigara.com/WWLD. All right. Now, today's question is from a listener who asked to remain anonymous, and I'm going to get right into it. Here we go. It starts, Lou. Pretty funny. It says, where do I even start? First, though, I want to thank you for the community mentorship you have built with this podcast. I've been an avid listener now for many years, and I can't tell you how many sessions I resonate with. And now I'm finally reaching out because the struggle is real, all caps. How do I scale, hire employees, grow the online business? How do I even photograph projects without the funds? She says, I'll give you the backstory. I'm not a trained interior designer, but I knew I wanted to be an interior designer as soon as I left college. I studied business and art history in Pennsylvania and Italy and worked for many, many years for my father, who is a luxury bespoke home builder in Long Island. I followed my calling. She says, I worked for other designers in New York for years and also a larger textile company for which I helped design textile showrooms, launched new territories, we had design clients, and I helped with product development. I went out on my own in 2015. From 2015 to 2019, I did everything alone, even down to the bookkeeping. I was working on 2 to 3 projects a year, and the business was doing between $500,000 and $2 million in sales per year, with just me. Caps, exclamation point. Because it was just me, I know I was not charging enough, and at the end of 5 years, I had struggled to find any funds to even photograph these projects. 2019, I finally spent the money to hire someone for renderings. I finally outsourced bookkeeping, and in 2020, I hired my first admin, and I decided it was time to move out of my house into a studio. Big changes. But now we are busier than we've ever been. We are finally charging what we should be charging for our services. We are making good profit, but these profits already get allocated to the costs I've outlined above. Now, I could say this is great. I'm happy here in this semi-good profit area, but I'm a dreamer. Last year when COVID hit, I also decided to finally start the launch of my own textiles. I want to grow/start my online store or possibly move into the direct-to-consumer market. We already need a larger space, and I feel like I still can't catch up to hire that next employee I know I need or find the funds to photograph these 10 plus projects I have completed from years past. I know there are lending groups, banks, I could possibly go to family, but all of this is scary too. How do I find the best route of funding to scale the business where I know we need to go? So first of all, wow, what a ride you've been on. And I give you all the credit in the world for sticking it out, for making the changes you've needed in order to grow, and for reaching out now at this next crossroad. And I also want to thank you for listening to the show all these years and for being part of this fabulous community that we have created together. So on to your query. My first thoughts are, who do you bounce money decisions off of? If you read my first book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, you know I believe we all need our dream team around us. These are the paid and free people we go to when big decisions need to be made. I don't mean we go to someone and say, tell me what to do. We go and we say, here are some ideas I have. Will you give me your opinion Or will you walk me through some criteria that I should be considering so that I can come up with an answer? In your case, I want to know about your relationship with your CPA. Is your CPA someone that you are meeting with quarterly, someone that takes the time to help you look at your book so that you can make an informed decision about how much you can invest in the growth of your business, right? Because you're saying, how do I do this? How do I know if I can spend the money? How do I know if I should borrow? It has to start here. It has to start with a clear, informed look of your present financial situation. And I want to say, if you are having quarterly meetings with your CPA, then yes, bring this up at your next meeting or schedule an additional meeting. And if you're not having these meetings with your CPA and your CPA is the one that phones it in and does the taxes at the end of the year, you know what I'm going to say. You need a new CPA. Your CPA should be someone that sits side by side with you and is ready to help you walk through these financial decisions, okay? I'm going to tell you a story about one of my chairman of the board clients. Last December, we were looking at our current pipeline. We were looking at the potential projects, and we were looking ahead at the fact that she was going to come into her busiest season, spring. And we looked at each other's eyeballs and we were like, oh, you need to hire or you are going to be swamped. And the next part of the conversation was very understandable. We all do it. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. What if the other projects don't come in? Maybe I should wait till the spring when it starts again. I know what this feels like. I do the same thing. I do it at my business. We do it at WindowWorks. It isn't easy to commit to someone who we now know will depend on us for everything, for their mortgage, for their gas, for everything, right? But in looking at it with this chairman of the board client, it was all there. It made total sense. This chairman of the board not only needed this person, but we also identified essentially this new hire would be practically 100% billable. So in reality, the hire could net her some money. But I know it never feels that safe, right? So after talking out the pros and the cons and mapping out a loose job description, what that might look like, we'd also talked about where she might look for someone, where she would post the job. We decided we're going for it. Great, right? We have a decision. Terrific. Well, at our next monthly meeting, I asked her and she said, well, I'm going to be holding on it because I'm just not sure. And so here's the thing. I know that Peter Lang, the designer CPA, was her CPA. So I looked at her, I said, call Peter. Have him run the numbers with you. Get absolute clarity and comfort for yourself. Because you see, of course, my evaluation is based on all the factors with a little cowboy in it, right? Because being around the VinMan all these years, I know you need to spend money to make money. So maybe I'm a little more accustomed to risk, all right? But I said, go ask Peter and get a really solid, informed answer. So in our next conversation, she says, I met with Peter and he says, I can definitely afford to hire now. But he said, if you want to feel 100% assured and comfortable with no doubts and something that he would give his unqualified blessing on, he said, if you had another $25,000 on the books, then it's, a slam dunk. And side note, I want to tell you that she then said to me, I guess I really did want to hire after all, because now I'm kind of bummed that I can't. And that just hit me between the eyes, because I looked at her, I said, wait a minute. That's not what I heard. You heard, oh, you can't. I heard you can. He not only said you could swing it now, but he said if you got one $25,000 project, you could hire and sleep easy. Go get the $25,000 project. I remember saying this. If this was me, I would make it my mission to close $25,000 in projects in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I would give myself 1 month at most. I said to her, this is not a red light. This is a green light. Put your foot on the gas and go get the work. And do you know that in less than 3 weeks, she closed $25,000 in projects? That's intention. That's when you set your mind on something, right? So back to my point, though. First, get clear. Get informed on advice. If you have money available to you now to make some of these investments, right? If the answer is yes, green light, go make it happen. Go hire the person, go photograph the projects, whatever you think you need to know, okay? And the answer, if it's no, okay, ask your CPA, what would you say if I told you I absolutely had to have this amount of money to invest? Like, okay, you're telling me I don't have it, but if I said to you, this is a non-negotiable, we got to figure out how I can come up with 10,000 or 15,000 or whatever the number is that you're thinking you need to invest in your company right now. I would say to him, what would you say to that? And maybe he'll say, I think you need to have X amount of new projects the way Peter did. Maybe you discuss with him, do you open a line of credit at the bank? Maybe you discuss with him, should I take a business loan? And if you should take a business loan, tell me, help me look at the numbers to understand what payment amount I could handle within my existing finances. And then say, do you have advice on where to go for that loan? So you see, you need a numbers person in your world. I have told you this for years. Vin is a numbers person, but he goes to our CPA. And I've also told you, he went to high school with our CPA. He has been Vinny's CPA since he owned health clubs way back before, Window Works and when I was just a little bitty baby. Okay. And to this day, from day one to this day, he always goes to see Frank before we make any major money moves. In the beginning, right, he would go see Frank about some smaller decisions like this, $5,000 to invest in photography, $20,000 to invest in a part-time employee, right? Should we buy a new van? Should we do this? But, now Vinny can make these decisions in his sleep, right? It's 50 years of cultivating that muscle, okay? But even 3 years ago, when we were thinking about buying the entire little 4-store strip here that we are in and intending to gut renovate the entire place, oh, yes, you can be sure. He went to see Frank a few times before we did that. And we made that offer and we built we bought this building and we did the gut renovation. Okay. So who do you have in your corner? It has to be someone. All right. And I want to say the other part of your email has me just a tiny bit concerned is the launch of the textile business. And I said textile business because make no mistake about it, it is a whole other business. And I know this because we have recently launched our own new line of textiles, 38 East. Okay, we've launched it already to consumers, and just around the corner in August, September of this year, 2021, we will be launching it to the trade, to you. Okay, and the hours that both myself and Kim have put into this and the tens of thousands of dollars that we have invested are significant. And I'm not talking about one set of $10,000, okay? I'm talking about a couple sets of them, all right? And we're not alone in this. We're doing this in collaboration with Comfortex, and they have invested way more labor hours than we have, and they have invested those same multiple tens of thousands of dollars with us. I mean, between our two companies, we're in it for approaching 6 figures, okay? So when I think of you, a small team, a booming design firm, and this on your plate too, my head kind of spins, all right? So I am not dissuading you from any part of building your dream, your empire. But I do want to make sure that you've done your due diligence in asking the right questions, right? These are the kinds of questions that should come from the people on your dream team. Why do you want to do this? What is your goal in doing this? Does it align with your company mission? Is there a market for this? What are the projected expenses? What is the projected ROI? Do you have the capability, the resources to tap into that market? What is my plan if and when it takes off? How will you manage that and your design clients, right? So I have to say again, who's on your dream team? Who are your trusted advisors and your mentors, okay? These are questions that these questions that you have for me are great questions. And to some extent, look, I could just answer them in a straightforward way and not think deeply about them. I would say, you know what? Every project, build in the cost of photography. Or yeah, go to your bank, open a line of credit. But for peace of mind and for solid vision planning and strategy, these questions require a 360-degree look at your entire business, your personal goals, your business goals, your human and your financial resources, and your available time to devote to each of the initiatives that you've described to me. Okay? And another thing, the one line you said, it was 2 lines, I want to read them again. You said, we are busier than we've ever been. We're finally charging what we should be charging for our services. We are making good profit, but these profits already get allocated to these costs I've outlined above. And then you said, now I could say this is great. I'm happy here in this semi-good profit area. All right? You see, it's that semi-good profit area that has me concerned. Are you profitable or not? It sounds a tiny bit like you're not sure. Like, I don't know, like maybe do you look at a full bank account and figure you're doing semi-good? And I want to say, if I'm mistaken, then yay, okay? But if I'm reading between the lines on this actually could be the crux of all of your uncertainty if you have not yet learned to truly, actually understand your numbers, okay? Because if that is the case, this is the place to start, okay? Because when you can do that, when you can look at your bank account and you can literally understand it and understand what's your available money, what's your money to invest, and all the things on your own, you will automatically feel 2,000% better. Okay? If you doubt the power of this and the effect that it has on your business, your confidence, and your ability to make decisions, go listen to Lisa Gilmore's episode number 575. You don't need to take my word. You can take Lisa's word for it and her firsthand transformation in her experience, okay? And you'll still go to your CPA. You still will. The VIN man can look at his bank account, but you'll still go for those big decisions. But it does start. That fear is eliminated when you can look at it and truly feel like you get it, all right? And I can't go past this point right here, you guys, without saying to you, all of you, this is exactly why I developed both the Chairman of the Board program and LuAnn University. Chairman of the Board is specifically designed so that you have that someone who will pick everything apart with you, that person that is part of your dream team, so you don't feel alone as you cross these hurdles in your journey here as a business owner. And look, I'm telling you this, yes, because yes, you can apply to be Chairman of the Board, okay, only take a very few every year, but mostly I'm telling you because really was born out of emails and DMs and conversations at events just like this one, like things like the question that this listener is asking me, and people have said to me, what do I do if I don't have a VIN man or if I don't have a partner in my business? How do I make these decisions alone? Well, I don't know that it's possible to, quite frankly, and I certainly don't want you to. So gather your dream team, gather your advisors, all right? Go back and listen to Lawrence Carr's episode 484, and you'll see how she did it with a trusted circle of personal friends who she gathered that had expertise in various disciplines. So you can buy advice by doing a Chairman of the Board program or any other thing out there, or you can set it up and get it for free, all right? It's not only one way or the other, but either way, I encourage you to not go it alone, all right? And as far as LuU University classes, all the classes come from the things I learned from you that you struggle with. And online bookkeeping 101 and 201 are perfect examples of this. Learning about the financials of an interior design firm is not easy. Your business model is really complicated. And I feel that you really need to learn from people who know exactly what you have to do day to day so that you can learn to manage and forecast your money for exactly this reason. So you can make informed business decisions, so you can hire, so you can rent a studio, so you know when you can invest in photography. All right. And 101 is all about setting it up like you really have a handle on it. And 201, Peter Lang teaches it. He walks you through that next level of how to look at it yourself to see when you have the breathing space to make investments. Okay. And, I want to say, when saying investment here, and you've mentioned a couple of times investing in photography, I just want to say, maybe I'm being a little cynical, but like you said, find the funds to photograph those 10 plus projects that I've completed from years past. And again, I don't want to be cynical here, but if the projects are more than 3 months, 6 months old, are they photo worthy still? Because I know from many of the top designers that we work with at WindowWorks, many of them insist on photo shoot day before the family is allowed to move into the space. Okay, we've had designers on the show tell us about it. Marie Flanagan, Laura Umansky. They don't want you there one day messing up, the rugs. It's like if the projects are already several months or years old, are you going to come into that house and find it photo worthy? I know you left it photo worthy, believe me, all day long. I know you left it that way. But it is a big investment in photography. And, does the paint need retouching? Are the pillows saggy? Did the dog eat the edges of the rug? I'm not trying to rain on your parade. I'm actually trying to do the opposite. Because I've you mentioned it a couple of times, and it sounds like to me you have this heavy feeling of needing a boatload of cash to photograph all of these past projects. And I'm just suggesting that maybe in reality, maybe only one or two are still viable for professional photography at this point. And by suggesting that to you, I'm saying maybe you actually can swing one or two and you can release yourself of being worried about coming up with the money for all of the others. And you can just go forward in pricing your future projects so that the photography money is in there. Okay? Just a thought. All right. So all in all, I do hope that this was helpful, even though I don't feel like I was able to give you a direct answer on your direct question, because I really do believe that a full 360-degree look is necessary to give you real solid hardcore advice. All right. But maybe, hopefully I got you thinking a bit. At least I hope you got to thinking about how we all need the dream team to help us run our business. And, at home, we don't mind it. We say all the time, if we have kids, a spouse, pets, all the things, we laugh at our girlfriends and we say it takes a village. And we don't mind calling on our girlfriends for help or our in-laws for help or our own, siblings or parents for help, right? We don't ever put it on us that we're less than if we need to hire a babysitter or we need to lean on our friends, okay? And just like you wouldn't consider teaching your kid to play clarinet, why do we think as a business owner we have to do it all? Like, it's illogical, right? How are you an expert at marketing? How are you an expert on investments? How is any of us? We have the things that we do as our primary superpower in our business, but the rest of it does take the dream team. It takes the village. Okay. So, I think if the biggest message that you got might be, don't think you're less than because you're struggling with these questions. I think it's completely logical that you need help in them. But I'm also saying, whether or not I'm going to tell you to go take a loan or this or that or the other thing, it requires a deeper look. And I think you should go to your CPA and all of the things. Okay. So hopefully that was helpful. All right. And I want to say, too, before I go, on a recent episode, I mentioned that I will be bringing back Power Talk Friday tour to High Point this October 15, 2021. And I've already had some of you reach out and say, I don't see a sign up for them. Like, where is all the registration? And I want to go. And I know that you only take 15 people for this day. So I want to say to you, I don't have registration open yet, but I do know that you are in the middle of planning your trips to High Point. So if you want to go, it's going to be an amazing day. It may be 2 weeks, 3 weeks until I have the day outlined and out on the website so that you can evaluate it. But here's what it is. There's going to be 5 of us experts, me, Vin Man, and 3 other experts, and only 15 of you. And we spend the day from 8 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night. And I will tell you, I've had window treatment people go to Power Talk Friday tours. I've had interior photographers go to Power Talk Friday tours. You absolutely, with a group this small, you absolutely can get what you need from this day. So if you are interested in wanting to get the information to your inbox as opposed to having to check and listen to every podcast episode to know when I open the registration, you can go to powertalkfriday.com and put your name on the list. All right. So, and like I said, we start at 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday, the 15th. So if you are planning to come to High Point, you're going to need to get in on Thursday. All right. It's like me, it's full on. Everything I do is full on, and it's a full on day, but it is an awesome, awesome day. All right. So I want to say big thanks to Beans1515 and Eden Stringham and Megan Moulton. These are the most recent reviews on iTunes this past month, and I absolutely appreciate your kind words so very much. I love reading the reviews. I love learning what you like about the show because it makes it easier for me to do more of it. So I appreciate all the time the words of advice and encouragement that you give me. It helps me to remember that, it's not just me loving this because I do love it. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great day. Decide to be excellent. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks, your resource for custom window treatments and awnings. To learn how we can help you on your next interior design project, go to www.windowworks-nj.com. And if you're interested in working with me on your business, either through masterminds or one-on-one coaching, or you want to know how to get my book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, or you just want to know what's going on in the podcast land and where I'm going to be, all of that is found at LuAnn Nigara.com. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.